Trip to Benares. We spent a little time in the classroom with some sort of, I would say, low pressure trips to live temples. And one of the first ones we did was to the Birla Temple. This is a Hindu temple dedicated to Krishna. I actually got my first Hare Krishna within it. It was a really beautiful temple, very well brought together by, as you can see, a color scheme which is very, very strong. It's predominant both in and out of the building. But unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to take any pictures inside, so you'll just have to make do with the outside of this temple. That's going to be a running theme on the next few temples. I didn't really get to take many pictures inside. This is a Sikh temple that we went to, the Gurudwara Bangla Sahib, and this is a really, really beautiful temple. The waters here to the side actually are said to have cured cholera. These were the cleanest of the sacred waters that I've seen so far, so I'm ready to believe that. I did mention in my last blog post that we get a whole lot of attention, and as you can see in the lower right, sometimes we are bringing that on ourselves. We did have to wear a head covering to cover our hair to go into this temple, and as you can see, we stand out quite a bit. I had a morning off, and there was one temple we couldn't have done the day before because it was closed, and this is the Lotus Temple. About 8 of us decided we were going to try out the metro, which you can see on the left, and to head out that way. The metro here is really clean, runs really well, lots of trains about every 2 minutes, but it's kind of hilarious. There is no reason for people to rush into cars. But India, just so everybody knows who might want to come here, India has a pushing problem. So if you're going to take the metro, you have to expect to queue up, have that line mean nothing, and then everybody makes a mad rush for the door. Pretty interesting experience. Actually, really enjoyed it. To the right is the Lotus Temple. This is a really recent Baha'i temple. It is very modernist. The form is sort of a beautiful shell that actually looks like a lotus, and from the sky looks like a lotus with the petals being pools of water. Again, unfortunately, no pictures inside. We did make a couple of visits to archaeological sites yesterday, two really amazing spots. One was Tulukabad, and in Tulukabad, we're looking at one of the cities of the Delhi Sultan. I'm standing at the highest point here on the left, looking over the ruins, and in the distance you can actually see the tomb of the Tuluk rulers. To the right is the inside the tomb, where you can actually see the direction of Mecca indicated, the bodies buried facing that direction. The most amazing site, maybe that I've seen that yet in the city of Delhi, has to be at the Minar Khatab. The Minar is on the left. It is the largest minaret in Delhi. It is absolutely huge, beautiful. It's got this really gorgeous round ribbing that flows up and down. Unfortunately, you're no longer allowed to climb it. I guess there was a trampling. The mosque itself, which you can see a little bit in the lower portion, and to the right you can see the area where the mihrab would have been, is in ruins. This was actually a huge mosque. It was the first congregational mosque in Delhi, but these remains are only one-fourth of the size of what this would have gotten to at its height several hundred years later. A second building brought it to double the size. A subsequent building actually doubled that again. Would have been absolutely amazing. Pretty amazing as it is. We spent some time uh, with a real expert, Dr. Sunil Kumar, who wanted to talk about one of the unique features of this mosque, which is that when it was put together by the sultans, it used portions of earlier Hindu and Jain temples. Exactly how these pieces were acquired is where the big political debate comes in. It is probable that some were taken from wrecked temples, and this is a practice that was followed by Hindu rulers as well, where you take spolia, things from temples of people you've conquered, and then you incorporate them into your own temples. Some may have been recycled from ruined temples. There really aren't a lot of early temples in Delhi, and we don't have a lot of information on it. But you can see why that would be really politically charged. And it's kind of an unusual thing as well to use a figurative image in a mosque itself. And so as you can see, these are some of the columns. The mosque is actually quite a bit larger than these temples would have been. So segments from several of the different segments from several of the different columns are used here to combine to make one really large column. And then, of course, arcades of really large columns. It is a really beautiful, beautiful spot. It is just kind of breathtaking. And if you pay close attention, you'll see that certain elements get left intact, including figural elements, and then others that are more figural will actually be defaced and then still allowed to be used in this temple. Instead of talking about food this time, I thought it might be kind of interesting to talk about another necessity of life, which is laundry. So to the left, you can see the laundry line that we have hung in the balcony outside the hotel room. Laundry needs to be done a couple of times a week, and I've got to say, it really needs to be done because there's a lot of sweating going on here. It's very humid, very hot. My roommate gave up on a couple of shirts that just weren't doing well in terms of hand launder. So to the right, you can see what it's like if you pay the hotel for the service. They bring it to you in a suitcase box with a rose. I don't know if it's worth it, but it's very attractive. So I will not be able to post over the weekend. We are getting to the portion of the trip that I am most excited about, where we do Mughal architecture. So tomorrow we're off to Humayun's tomb. Then we get on a bus for the weekend. We're going to Agra. We're gonna get to see Fatehpur Sikri. We're gonna get to see, of course, the Taj Mahal, which has to be the most iconic piece of architecture in India. And we'll also get to see Akbar's tomb. So I hope to have something up on that by Monday or Tuesday of next week.